January 11th, Saint Theodosius, Abbot. Saint Theodosius was born in Cappadocia in the year 423. He desired to visit the holy places, and on his way he visited Saint Simeon Stylites to ask his counsel. Simeon perceived him among the crowd and called him by his name. Theodosius, servant of God, you are welcome. His desire to follow Jesus Christ attracted him to the religious life. He placed himself under Longinus, a very holy hermit, who sent him to govern a monastery near Bethlehem. Unable to bring himself to command others, he fled to a cavern where he lived in penance and prayer. His great charity, however, forbade him to refuse the charge of some disciples, who, few at first, became in time a vast number, and Theodosius built a large monastery and 3 churches for them. The holy monk eventually was named by the Bishop of Jerusalem superior of all the religious communities of Palestine. He and Saint Sabas, who had been appointed by the same bishop to attend to the Palestinian hermits, often consulted together on subjects of piety and edification and the means to procure the glory of God. Saint Theodosius accommodated himself so carefully to the characters of his subjects that his reproofs were loved rather than dreaded. But on one occasion he was obliged to put away from the communion of others a religious guilty of a grave fault. Instead of humbly accepting his sentence, the monk was arrogant enough to allege to excommunicate Theodosius in revenge. Theodosius thought not of indignation, nor of his own position, but meekly submitted to this false and unjust excommunication. This so touched the heart of his disciple that he submitted at once and acknowledged his fault. Theodosius never refused assistance to any in poverty or affliction. On some days the monks laid more than 100 tables for those in need. In times of famine, Theodosius forbade their alms to be diminished, and miraculously multiplied the provisions. He built 5 hospitals in which he lovingly served the sick, while by assiduous spiritual reading he maintained himself in perfect recollection. He successfully opposed the Eutychian heresy, which taught that Christ was not of 2 natures, God and man, but rather Christ's divine nature overwhelmed and encompassed his human nature. For his fight against this heresy in Jerusalem and Palestine, he was banished by the Emperor Anastasius. His exile lasted but a short time, for the emperor who sustained the heretics died soon afterward, struck by lightning. The holy abbot suffered a long and painful illness and refused to pray to be cured, calling it a solitary penance for his former successes. He died at the age of 106. Saint Theodosius, for the sake of charity, sacrificed all he most prized, his home for the love of God, and his solitude for the love of his neighbor. Can ours be true charity if it costs us little or nothing?